Well, there's something else going on, and nobody in the media is covering it. And it fascinates me because I think this is the beginning of what I'd like to call the civilist war, where no shot is fired. This has gigantic repercussions if this works. I want to introduce you to Judge Napolitano, Fox News senior, judicial analyst. How are you, sir?
And your comrade in arms.
Oh, holy cow. Holy cow. Explain quickly what's just happened in Montana.
The state of Montana enacted legislation which says if a gun is made in Montana and never leaves the state, and if the ammunition using that gun is manufactured in Montana and never leaves the state, because it doesn't cross interstate lines, the federal government cannot regulate it. Only the state of Montana will.
Okay. All right. I have to get into because the interstate commerce is regulated by the federal government, and they played such games in the 30s and the 40s.
Right.
We'll get into that here in just a second. But tell me quickly, if this scheme, if you will, would work, if this actually happens and passes the Supreme Court, this changes this is as big as Roe versus Wade.
Oh, sure. This shrinks the ability of the federal government, of the Congress, back to where the founders gave it. They use the phrase to regulate interstate commerce, meaning to regulate everything they want. The founders used the word regulate, meaning its original meaning, to make regular, to make sure there is interstate commerce, not to tax it, not to regulate it, and not to legislate it out of existence.
America, listen, if you care about your country, if you are somebody who believes in states' rights, individual rights, etc., this is huge, and you've got to start doing this in your state. Utah here. Representative Wimmer, first of all, you started the Patrick Henry, what is this, the Patrick Henry Caucus?
Yeah, Glenn, the Patrick Henry Caucus is a brand new caucus that we're formed. We just finished forming it here in Utah, and we intend on taking it to every state in the nation. What it is states fighting back. It is the legislatures engaging in this battle for states' rights and individual rights. And it's my intention to take it to the states and have every state in the nation have a Patrick Henry Caucus where we can work together to pass strong states' rights legislation, not toothless resolutions, but tough state rights.
Okay, so what are you introducing in Utah? How similar is it to what has just been passed and signed by the governor in Montana?
We are going to be running a law that is almost identical to Montana. Right now we are actually looking into making it stronger. You know, the liberals like to have these sanctuary cities that protect illegal immigrants who come and violate federal law. I'm looking into the possibility of creating a sanctuary state to protect our constitutional rights, especially the Second Amendment. We're looking into seeing if we can't strengthen Montana's law, take it further, and essentially tell the federal government that any further gun bans, any further gun regulations in violation of the Constitution will not be recognized in this state.
I understand.
And the thought came to me that I do not want to grow old, Glenn, and have to answer to them, Dad, you're in the legislature. Why didn't you fight harder for my liberty and my freedom? And me and four of my very close friends in the state legislature came up with the idea for the Patrick Henry Caucus, and I sure hope it starts a grass fire.
Here's the judge to tell you why this is so important.
Because this is the phrase in the Constitution. Congress shall regulate commerce among the several states that it uses as the basis for its authority to regulate everything from the water pressure in your shower to the amount of shrimp you can take out of the ocean to the cleanliness of the water to the pollutants in automobiles.
To hourly wage.
Absolutely.
To how many hours you work, everything that they get into.
If this phrase is reinterpreted by the Supreme Court to the way Jefferson and Madison intended it,
right,
you will jump for joy, as will I and people who agree with you, because 90% of the progressive agenda from Woodrow Wilson to the present day will be history.
Gone. And this is amazing. What are the odds that this actually goes through with the Supreme Court?
The case that all this is based on has to do with a farmer growing wheat in his field for his wife to make bread, just for their family.
Right.
And the Supreme Court in the 30s said, well, if a lot of different farmers did this, it could affect interstate commerce, so we're going to let the feds regulate this one farmer. That case has been vilified, not only by conservatives, but even by some liberal academics and appellate judges as well. My prediction is 5-4 or 6-3 on the present Supreme Court, overturning that case.